Good morning. Happy Friday. Here we are on our final Own Your Genius session. These have been so much fun. I love these sessions. All of my clients are just extraordinary women doing amazing things in the world. And I love to share what they're doing. So today we have Katherine Konieczka of Katherine Interiors. And Bailey, welcome. We have Simone G. And Simone, I never say your last name because I just go with Simone G because it's the right, easy way for me to put that out in there in the world. And Liz Morgan. And so welcome to all of you. I am so excited to have you all here and to be sharing about all the gifts you guys are doing. It's been really fun on these. We let people randomly pick where they were ending up on the schedule. And every single session had a great, unique twist to it, right? A great, unique focus to it. And today is no exception. Good morning, Kathy McCarty. It's great to see you. This is a wellness session. We are going to be talking about wellness. So all of us, whether it's wellness within ourselves, wellness within our business, wellness within our homes, we're going to be going down this pathway because, and for me, wellness has been a big part of my focus in the last couple of years, and really tuning into, what kind of foods I'm eating, how am I leading my business, how am I decorating my home, right? I mean, and decorating is a loose term. If you're really creating a space that is inspirational for you to live in, and that is bringing really good energy to you. I mean, this is what we're going to go down the pathway with Bailey. So what a fun topic. And as you guys are logging in, please do say hi. If you haven't logged on to StreamYard before and put your Facebook account to it, you'll want to make sure you put your name in there so we can see who is saying hello. So if you're watching, just say hello, put your name in, and let us know who's joining us. And if you guys have questions for these extraordinary women as we're moving through it, please just drop them in the chat. Shout out to them what's inspiring to you. So we're going to start with Bailey Konieczka today. So Bailey, of Katherine Interiors, tell us a little bit about your work.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's so amazing to be surrounded by such changemaker women and just the best community. Katherine Interiors is a holistic interior design company that focuses around sustainability and consciousness in our homes. So it's multidimensional, but really comes down to how we're slowing down and being intentional about what our surroundings are, and using that and using our homes as this tool to really elevate our lives. And that can look like it can look in a lot of different ways. The dynamic of our relationships, the way that we show up in our career paths, our own personal and spiritual development can all be morphed by this experience of living within our homes. And that's what I work with my clients on.
I love this. And it's such a different way for us to think about the space that we surround ourselves with. And this always inspires me so much. So tell us a little bit more about how do we look at a space and really bring that essence of us out into the room.
Yeah, and that's super important. I think something I try and be really mindful of when working with clients is that we're not just leaning into trends and something that they see that they like, but it's a little bit more intentional about, okay, what are the materials that we're bringing in that help you feel really grounded? And what are the colors that inspire you, and why are those colors inspiring? What's the symbolism in the artwork, or just like the flow of the space? How does this really lend itself to serving your life? And just asking those questions and being really thoughtful about that process is huge.
Could you give us an example of someone that you worked with recently that kind of models that?
Yeah, let me think here. So I'm doing a home office right now, lots of home offices.
Right, I'm sure you are.
And we were really intentional about bringing vibrance in for her to be running her business within that space. And so the colors that we were bringing in were really intentional. The metals that we were bringing in, we wanted to feel really raw. And so we have raw brass hardware within the space, just really natural and grounded and like less artificial pieces.
So things that are from the earth.
Yeah, we're doing a solid wood bookcase, like hidden door, which is a really fun and just like whimsical, magical element. And when we presented that idea to her and kind of went into it a little bit further, I really believe that it's like providing that magical, whimsical energy as she's going to be running her business within this space. And like that felt really good to see that and have that be something that's going to just really elevate the way that she shows up every day.
Right. I know when I redid my office and I, was picking things very intentionally. I had the Kuan Yin statue out my window, and it's like, it just brings a different energy into the space. Even behind my picture behind me, whatever way we're talking about this, right? The picture behind me, I actually have a little red, so that's a feng shui thing. I have a little red square that's behind this picture. This is the money wall, the abundance wall, and it's about bringing, and red is a good color in the space of this. So you've got the red shirt, you've got the so playing with those sorts of things can be really fun when you start to really get intentional about what's there. It's like, what natural stones do you bring around you so you feel the energy of that? And I constantly am, am paying attention to what is there. I know that one of the big things that you put a lot of focus on is the sustainability side of interior design, and it's not the fast we've often heard the fast fashion, like the inexpensive clothes made in China that if you really think through that cycle of how a product is made and who's actually built something or made something. I know you think along the same lines when it comes to interior design. So talk to us a little bit about, choosing the types of elements we bring into our homes.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's huge. And I think a lot of times the quickest, easiest way to make sense of all of that in your head, because it can be hard. It's like, okay, I want to go in this direction, but then this part's not perfectly sustainable. So it's going to be multifaceted. And I think the most important thing to remember is to just be doing your best in every moment and to be starting these conversations and pushing ourselves outside of our normal comfort zone to think, okay, what is this long-term cycle? And not just in interiors, but within all the elements of our lives. When I definitely try to purchase locally as much as possible and be supporting. Denver has such a vibrant community of artisans and woodworkers and just amazing makers. And so supporting that local community first, I think, is a really good place to start. And then extended from that, just being really thoughtful and doing a little bit of extra research when we're looking at some of those bigger companies that we're purchasing from, and understanding like you said, all the layers that go into it and what's the life cycle of these products. And as much as possible, bringing things into our homes that are going to last a really long time, even generationally, things we can sand down and redo over time as our style changes and evolves. But it's not something that's going to be ending up in a landfill within 5 years of purchasing.
It's really interesting. You and I have just recently had this conversation. I have my favorite chair, right? I have this chair that I wrote Fire Dancer in. And, it is so comfortable, and it's got good energy, and it sits perfectly in my living room, but it really needs some love. And like the seams are starting to split out. And we were talking about it, my husband and I, we were like, we could get a new chair, but I don't want a new chair. I want this chair. And so Bailey's been connecting me with some people that can reupholster it. And, she'll help me pick out the fabrics and that sort of thing. So, and, good quality fabrics that will make this chair last another 20 years. So, this is the sorts of things that we can think about is like, what can we repurpose in our home to bring back to life, which this chair needs some love to bring back to life. But I don't want it to go into a landfill by any means. I mean, it was an expensive chair to begin with. So it's, thinking through those sorts of things, buying that quality is I think really important. And I know that's something even when we remodeled our bathroom last year, you brought a lot of good insights into, this kind of a rug has a very organic feel to it. And, I was wanting to create kind of a spa space. So it's that energy of the space that we want to be in, and that feeling what that space can really, how it makes us feel. Right.
Yeah. Supporting, your, like, for example, for your bathroom vanity, supporting your literally neighbor down the street to create and handcraft this gorgeous vanity for your bathroom. Like, what a different energy that holds.
Right. Than ordering it just from a box store somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I totally feel that. So I think that's the beauty of that, and certainly something I've learned from you on that. So thank you for that. Is there right now, so you said you're hearing a calling a lot for offices, obviously, because so many people are deciding to stay at home. Is there anything else that's coming down the pipeline that you want to share with people?
I'm working a lot in I mean, homes are just people giving love to their homes is in high demand right now. I think after the past year, we, as a collective, have really shifted the perspective on what we're doing, like our experience of living in our homes every day and what that really looks like. And so people are looking to add more intentionality and like this conscious flow. So I doing a variety of bedrooms and offices and different types of spaces throughout the home. And just I guess one new thing that I'm kind of dipping my toes into is Airbnb design, and really like that experience is very inspiring to me.
Yeah, I know you're really busy, and it's really fun to see how busy you are right now. You're like, okay, you're on this verge of. In fact, you're bringing on an intern right now, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, she started this past week, so that's been really rewarding to just share my passion with her. Yeah,
and she's lucky to get to learn with you, but learn from you. So what a great opportunity for her. And it's that next evolution of your business too. We were talking about this before we jumped on live. You were saying you started in 2018, you said?
Yeah, end of 2018.
Yeah. So it's really been fun to see the growth of your business and how it's going crazy. And so we'll come back to where people can follow you. Is there anything that you want, if people are interested in working with you, how would they, is there anything that you've got going on right now?
So going to BaileyCatherineInteriors.com and booking a call with me is the best place to start. And we can kind of chat about exactly what you're looking for and go from there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Bailey.
Thank you.
Liz Morgan, it is so fun to have you on here today. And you work in the world of functional nutrition. And I love that kind of eating. It just is so, to me, it's what I'm drawn to. It's not fancy diet terms. It's not It's not fads. It's actually just going back to real healthy eating. Tell us more about you. Tell us about your work. I'm honored to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Cami. I'm so honored to be here. And Bailey, that was so interesting. I'm a functional nutritionist, and so I work with people. A lot of times I work with people with, who have a serious chronic health issues and they don't want to go on medications, and they want to see if there's any way that they can help figure out how to heal their body naturally. And I've been thinking lately, I don't work so much with like dieters, right? Like I'm not going to help you with the next diet that you're going to do. I work with like foodies, like people who love good food or want to learn how to love good food. But, because of stress and toxic exposure and antibiotics and processed food, and too much alcohol and too much sugar, our bodies fall apart. And we, especially like after a year, like we've all had like just a really stressful time, most of us just zoom right on through, put it aside, forget about it, and try to just keep pushing. And there's so much we need to do to heal ourselves from all of these things, all of these like assaults of modern life. And, a lot of people say to me, well, it seems so hard. I just want to eat whatever. But like being sick, like struggling is hard.
It's way harder, right?
And so people always think I'm going to deprive them, and I'm all about decadence, not deprivation. And so once we get you in your new food flow, it's like you're eating beautiful, delicious food, and you're more nourished and more satisfied than ever. And so people who used to have to snack all day will be like, oh, I just went from breakfast to like mid-afternoon. I didn't even think about food. I could get on with my life and think about other things. So it's like we create the change to create more stability, or we like bring the focus to the food so that you don't have to focus on food so much.
Yeah, I love this. And it's, and I can think about, just my own journey through food in the last several years. And I've gotten to where I look at the ingredients of everything that I buy. And when you start looking and you go, oh my gosh, what's one of the first things there is sugar. And sugar has always been my biggest nemesis. It's one of those ones that if I start eating much sugar, I just want more and more and more. I mean, it's just one of those things. And so I have to really be cognizant about saying no to sugar. And when I do, I feel so much better. It's not that I don't ever eat sugar, but it is one of those things that if I start paying attention to it, I don't crave it so much. I mean, it's just one of those nasty things. Also, just the, all of the processed things that, if you start looking at the ingredients and it's filled with, all these words you can't pronounce.
And I do a food sensitivity test with people that tests a bunch of those chemicals.
Oh,
and
interesting.
So we can see like what's really causing problems for you. There's general things that, everyone should way reduce their sugar if you're eating too much and things like that. But then sometimes if we might even specifically react to certain chemicals. And so interesting, like looking at, like when you look at supplements, they say inactive ingredients. And I'm like, those are chemicals you're putting in your body. It's not inactive,
interesting.
Or even on medications, you'll see that. But yeah, the toxic exposure, like what Bailey was talking about from our households, like a lot of people are so burdened. Like our bodies are just chemical, biological machines. And if we're exposed to too many chemicals in our food, in our bath and body products, or off-gassing from our homes, it really, there's chemicals that are obesogenic, so they make us fat. So there will be people who are like, I'm exercising, I'm eating right, I can't lose weight. It could be a sugar handling problem. It could be a chemical issue.
Oh, I need that chemical thing. I need that test.
Let's do it.
Okay.
There's chemicals that are implicated in diabetes. So diabetes is generally a sugar handling and malnutrition sort of thing, but certain chemicals that might be in your soap that you're using every day also contribute to that kind of dysfunction.
My father was a diabetic, and so it was something he got it in his 20s. He had it his whole life. And I got engaged with the American Diabetes Association on the board many years ago, and sat on their board for several years. A lot of really good things that organization does. But one of the things that always blew me away was they did not focus enough on this functional medicine that, like good, healthy foods. And frankly, I think that it's, I love the American Diabetes Association. I love what they do. And it's just such an obvious conversation that I feel like is missing. Why is that? Why is it that, we don't talk more about healthy foods and just going back to the roots of wellness?
Yeah, God, why? It's such a good question. It's not trained in medical school. It's not what doctors do. And so they might have some vague advice for their clients, like lose weight or eat healthier, but they don't know what that means even. And so, like with diabetics, we can do a diet where your body that's just lower in sugar. So you're eating in a way that does not raise your blood sugar. So we don't even have to pour insulin into your bloodstream. To lower.
Here's a perfect example. When we'd host the kids camps, which were amazing. Kids would get to go to camp, and they would serve them pizza and then teach them how to dose their insulin to adjust for that. And it was that's not the message. And I know that they were wanting these kids to be able to live life normally and get to eat what their friends eat. I know that was some of the concept behind it, but I just don't think that's, Frank, it's part of the reason I left the board, frankly.
That's so interesting. Yeah. I mean, because we can really heal the insulin receptors so that your insulin receptors in your cell work. So in functional nutrition, it's about what can we do to heal the body so it works as it should. And it's really about reconnecting to our true nature, to reconnecting to how our body's really intended to work. And I believe that includes reconnecting with the beautiful, wholesome food that the earth grows. And so a lot of us are so struggling because we're just disconnected. We're I'm living in this body that's not working right. I'm eating fake food. I'm, not connected to the earth and to my real true nature of my body.
Yeah. Have you gotten to listen to Sherry Hess that I interviewed on Extraordinary Women Radio this week? You're going to want to go listen to her because you guys need to know each other. I don't think you've met each other yet.
I don't think so.
Sherry was a client last year. She's just landed a TED Talk on her topic on flavors and natural flavors. And you guys need to know each other.
Yeah. Oh, I look forward to that. Natural flavors is the third most used ingredient.
Yeah. And she's that drives her crazy. And that term is she's oh my God, there's nothing natural about this, right?
It could be anything.
So you'll have to go listen to her podcast that just launched this week. And I can't wait for her TED Talk. But you guys need to know each other because you talk the same language. You have the same concept. So tell us how you work with a client. And you can even, use a client example if you want to, or just, a generic, not a generic person, but you know what I mean? You can, the typical client journey.
Yeah. The typical client journey is, so I work with, so first when someone starts to work with me, we do a big health history and symptom analysis. So most people think there's things happening in their bodies that they just think are normal. I spent my whole life waking up with a belly ache every single morning. I thought that was normal. It's totally not normal. It meant I wasn't digesting my food, which meant I was malnourished, which meant I had all these spiraling health problems. So we do a big symptom survey, and then people are oh my God, I didn't even know. And then we decide if we're going to go upgrade your food strategies route, or if we're going to do a whole bunch of lab testing. And I work with a lot of lab testing too. We do deep dives into the digestive microbiome and digestive function, food sensitivities, functional blood chemistry test. And we really look for early signs of dysfunction. A lot of times we find very advanced signs of dysfunction, but if we can find them early, all the better. I help people recover after surgery. In some cases, I help people recover from digestion, blood sugar handling, just mysterious health issues. So we'll do food upgrades. We definitely look at stress, because stress changes everything: our sugar handling systems, our brain function, and our digestive systems.
And how do you look at stress? I mean, you're just having the conversation, figuring out what's stressing them out?
Yeah, exactly. Like, some people just can't leave work behind. And so I had a client where I was like, well, can you do like 5 minutes of journaling at the end of your workday and just write down all the things you need to deal with tomorrow, so that it's on a piece of paper and doesn't have to be in your brain, and that changes their life. Other people, it's, financial or work or relationships, and it's just addressing stress.
Yeah, I think I'm so glad. It's so cool that you're incorporating that into that conversation, because I think you're absolutely correct. It feeds all the other pieces inside of us that were, the nutrition. If you're putting a bunch of chemicals in your body, and then you add the stress in, and it's like multiple stress.
Well, chemicals are stress. Food sensitivities are stress. Chronic pain is stress. And so if there's something where someone has just chronic pain, it might be from inflammation, from bugs in their, imbalanced microbiome, or food sensitivities, or just junk food. But it might be a structural thing where they need to go see a body worker to help in the process. And so I help people figure out, and I know Simone's going to talk about this, like, what's the big, like, how many other practitioners do you need in your life to support you?
But it's part of this is such a much better way. If you think about, and you said this early on, when disease settles into our body because of all these other things that have been happening to us, it's much more difficult to treat it there than to figure out what's starting to happen within us early on, so we can shift that so that we don't end in that disease state.
Yeah. I just started offering more like a yearly check-in kinds of things for people, blood, analysis, because most people just go, 20 years before they really figure out what's going on with them and figure out what to do about it. And by then, something that might have started off as a parasite you got while you were traveling turns into like your whole life. You can't even function as a human being anymody. I
love the yearly. We go to the yearly doctors for all the other stuff. It's like, why not do a nutritional full body check-in? It's just such a different approach. I like, it's not, well, it's a good added approach, not a different, because our doctors don't look at it from that way.
No,
at least mine doesn't.
Well, I love looking at blood reports. So I had a client who their doctor said, yep, everything looks great on your blood markers. Well, I ran it through the functional analysis, and we found out she had B vitamin anemia and had been really just athletically, didn't feel fun to exercise. She was tired. She wanted to do stuff, but had to drag herself through. Once we got her on the right kinds of B vitamins, it was like, oh my God, she could go running again. It was amazing.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's so cool. So something that, mainstream doctor wouldn't notice. It's within their range.
So what do you offer that people can come into your space to work with you?
Yeah. Well, I have 2 free offers right now. One is you can just go onto my website and take the free 300 plus symptom survey. And I'll personally send you an email with a little explanation about it. And we'll get to see, is digestion your issue? Is sugar your issue? Is stress? Like, are you deficient in fat? So we can start to create priorities for what you should work on. And the other free offer right now is just, you can schedule a free 15-minute phone call with me.
Oh, nice.
Just talk about what you've done, what you've tried already, what's worked, what hasn't. And, we can talk about whether this might be the right next step for you.
Cool. And where do they find that access to both of those?
Yeah, my website, lizmorgannutrition.com.
Cool. And you guys, after this is over, you can go in and post your contact information into the comments and that sort of thing. I love the work you're doing, Liz. I think it's really important. And I think, it's just, we're coming into, we've been bombarding, and I'm going to talk for myself. I know I've been bombarding my body with, outside influences, and I want to be healthy. It's like, I want the health, and I feel really pretty healthy. I feel like I've made a lot of good choices in my life, but it's always learning more. And this opening up to, making choices on the foods that we're looking at, taking care of ourselves. And I think this is how we really all, we always are talking about how we resonate, right? The R factor for us. And this how we resonate starts from inside. And nutrition is one of those most important things that we can do. And frankly, it can be a lot of fun. I think that's my husband and I have taken, my husband's a trained chef, and he's had to kind of think through eating in a different way as a chef, because a chef wants to, put all kinds of stuff in there. But he's gotten really good at, thinking through healthy foods and concocting these beautiful, really delicious, healthy foods. So I feel very fortunate that my husband likes to chef around.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing better than just having a vital life force, like having energy flowing through our bodies and waking up feeling good and having our brains work right. And it's just, there's just nothing better than it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you help people do. What a blessing that you get to gift that to people.
It's amazing. I usually have to, people usually come to me with a little goal, and I have to help them expand their goal. Like, we could go further.
Yeah. I love that, Liz. I love that. So everybody who's listening and tuning in today, really think about, expanding that wellness goal. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cami.
Mm-hmm. And Simone, welcome. We're going to keep this whole theme of wellness going, because you really work with people and feeling good in their bodies and recovering in their bodies, and running their businesses in a way that fits their lifestyle. So tell us more about you.
Yes, thank you so much, Cami. And first, I have to say the alignment here is just amazing, because as I walk my clients through the 7 areas of well-being, one of the areas is environment, because I everything gives us energy or drains it. And that includes our environment of our home. Like, what kind of tone do we want? Peace or joy? And everything adds to that or detracts. Mm-hmm. And then also, although I threw the toxins in the home, I have a cleanup, environmental cleanup challenge I do, Liz, with clients to get rid of the stuff, the toxins and so forth, to better support our well-being. And obviously, nutrition is so key to our foundation of our physical wellness. So what I do is I work primarily with individuals, primarily entrepreneurs, who have chronic health challenges or compromised health or injuries that impact the day-to-day life and their ability to take their business where they want to take it. And I help them create a lifestyle that supports their well-being and a business with the right model, processes, and well-being.
Oops, you cut out there for a second.
Create a business with the right model, processes, and strategies that also supports their well-being. Right. Because if you're in process of healing or managing your health challenges, the more we can set our businesses for the day-to-day uncertainties and so forth, that brings us peace. It lets go of that stress and helps to alleviate that overwhelm that can come when you're trying to manage so many of these chronic conditions. So that's the basis of what I do. And
I love it. I love what you do, because it's there's so many people who have had some sort of a chronic challenge from a health perspective, and it impacts how they can really show up in their life and in their business. And I know this for you was a personal journey that you went through. You made the big move to Florida how many years ago?
Back in 2016 officially. I've been here since 2015.
Yeah. And that shift for you changed everything, didn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it was huge. Yes. And I'm passionate about helping individuals, because I've had health challenges since I was born, and they just kept undiagnosed, kept layering. And it got me to the position where I could no longer manage my corporate career after almost 2 decades. And so I started a business that was flexible and adapted to my lifestyle, but I still ended up with 3 shutdowns in the first 5 years because I hadn't learned how to put it all together. So now I've taken those experiences and I help people listen to the signals our body's giving us, because we get all these signals and it can get easy to get overwhelmed and start to shut down or get hyper focused. So we help prioritize where to focus, and then to take a look what's limiting us right now in achieving our goals and living the lifestyle we want, and how can we find unique solutions to you. And that's what I call the power of I Can't.
Yeah.
And that's really,
which is a really different way to look at things, right? Because we always talk about the power of I can, but you flip this on its head. So tell us a little bit more about the power of I can't and why that's really helped you and how that helps your clients.
Okay. Yeah. The power of I can't is I look at life that we do have limitations. We're all capable of different levels of skills, whether it's athletically and so forth. And so I'm using that as a different example, but from a health perspective, if we're trying to push through something because that's what society does, or that's the expectations of others, we keep pushing through and hitting the same setback. So for example, with a bad back and neck injury, before I got the right treatment, I couldn't really sit at a desk, but then I'd keep trying. But once I finally said, I can't do that, I found an alternative solution, and then I could run my business much better. And I could be there. I could show up to serve my clients consistently. I could show up to be there for my loved ones and so forth. So the power of I can't is ultimately about being able to say, I can. And so when you let go of the expectations of others, what's everybody else is doing, and focus on where you're at right now, what your capabilities are, then it's just so freeing and empowering, because you get to come up with solutions unique to yourself. You let go of judgment from others, and it's what works for you to help you get where you want to be, so you can have your impact with the world, which that's the ultimate goal. It's when you have chronic health challenges for an extended time, it's easy to start to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
And to even lose hope. Like, am I ever really going to be able to run this business? Am I ever going to get it where I want to get it?
Yeah.
And when we lean into, it's sort of similar to leaning into those emotions instead of suppressing them.
Right.
Lean into it so you can work through it and overcome it.
And you really learned how to listen inside to those signposts in your body that were saying, today is this, or today, because every day can be different.
Yes.
And so how did you learn to listen inside? What were some of the things that you brought around you? What were some of the tools that you have that you can feel and listen and move from that space first?
Slow down and pause. Definitely taking the time I call it the power of the pause.
Yeah.
Doing things as simple as a body scan. Comparing challenging days. What's going on all around before, during those challenging days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Comparing the good times, how does that work? And I've had fortune to work with some amazing Pilates instructors and Iyengar yoga, and I learned so many skills. So I take my clients through this process of, it incorporates a little bit of meditation. We do some gentle body movement to really learn to listen, slow down and listen to what we're getting.
Yeah. And you also have, so you have built your business. I always talk about, what's the vision you have for your business and what kind of lifestyle do you want to live in your business? And I think one of the things you've done so beautifully is be able to create the flexibility to maneuver through, your power days where you feel amazing. You have the space to create. And let me tell you, I've worked with Simone long enough that I know she is like, man, she gets stuff done. But you do it in your own way, right? It's like you can manifest and create in such beautiful ways, but you do it in a very flow way. So talk to us a little bit about what you've learned there and how you teach your clients to create that kind of a business structure.
Okay. I work in time blocks and I help my clients do the same, but we also incorporate flexible time blocks. And what this does is looking at what's the top couple priorities right now and knowing how many hours of a block. So when you block the same kind of work with the same energy, and then knowing how you're feeling that day. Because some days, if you're off a little cognitively, it's not the day to be creative.
Right.
It's a day to do some maybe administrative tasks and so forth. And you talk a lot about the CEO day. So definitely that's the same concept. You get in that same mode and you block that kind of work together. And that's one tool that I use. Mm-hmm. And also from, it's really setting boundaries.
Yes.
Boundaries to protect your well-being. And that can be everything like the boundaries. Be careful not to grow too quick sometimes.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the right systems and processes in before you go, to try to reach your main goals, because I do believe the sky's the limit, and it's by, acknowledging our limitations that we remove the limits. So acknowledging our limitations takes the limits away so that we can achieve our goals and what we want to do in life. Mm. So that's really important to me there. And again, the power of the pause. If I know, or somebody knows you need to have this creative block of time, sometimes taking a couple days off to relax, rejuvenate, do some of the special self-care things. Now, I look at self-care as every day, how you live your life and so forth. But when you do that, then you open up the space to go into this creative mode. So that's a couple of things, but boundaries are huge.
And you have the ocean outside your door that you can you can just go dip your toes in to get that inspiration flowing through you. That's a beautiful way that I know you do that. Mm-hmm. Are there any other pieces that you want people to know about your work that's really intricate to helping a business owner succeed in that journey with themselves?
Yeah, I look at having an underlying tone of self-compassion, that it's okay if our bodies aren't perfect. We talk a lot about body size and body image, and that it's beautiful to have these different sizes of bodies. And thankfully, we're talking more about mental health now. Mm-hmm. And it's becoming more acceptable, that it's also, if you have health challenges, if you have chronic pain, if you have whatever your health challenges are, that you're more than that illness, that doesn't define you.
Right.
And from there, I've had some, clients make really beautiful progress from there, just realizing that, and then focusing on your capabilities to then build a whole new business so they can shine their light. And I think that's just absolutely beautiful when people have the courage to do that.
Yeah. And, and what I love about your work is that chronic pain or health challenge could be holding somebody back. And they're like, oh my gosh, I just don't know how I can go serve others and create, impact for others because I'm so wrapped into my space. And I think what you teach is this beautiful healing way so that it does become possible to put your gifts out into the world.
Yes. Exactly. I have one client where we've reset her work weeks, where she's working 4 days mm-hmm. and reduced hours.
So reduced hours, you cut out there.
Yeah.
So she's working fewer hours, 4 days a week. And what's happening?
And what's happening is that reduced time's giving her body to heal and rejuvenate, that she is working more than when she was working every day and pushing through, saying, I can do this, that she's actually accomplishing more and able to share her gifts more.
Yeah.
And then from there, as you heal, you can build upon that.
Right. Right. And you and I have known each other for several years, and you are so vibrant and you're such a shiny light. And I know you had to build to that, right? I mean, that was something. So when I look at the bright light of you today, it's like, wow, Simone, it's so amazing. I want to share that with you.
Thank you. And that's what I refer to as balance up. We take it in stages. It's a journey. We're always improving. It's not a destination. It's constantly improving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And living better.
So impressive. So tell us what do you have coming up that people need to know about?
I'm excited. Within the next 60 days, I'll be launching 2 of my programs online. And I'm really excited about that because when I first started this business, there's such a huge socioeconomic impact to people with chronic illness. And this will make part of the program more accessible, not only like from a cost perspective, but being able to do things at your own pace.
Nice.
Where you're at right now with your life. So I'm looking forward to that. And you can learn more about me at my website, SimoneG.net, and my links to social media are on there. And if anybody's listening, I'd love to share a free gift, which is a workbook on building your dream team for a life of better well-being and business success. And it takes you through a journey of, hey, what's holding you back? Maybe identify a couple limitations and looking at the different life areas like Liz and Bailey's areas, and where's the gap between where you are and want to be, and helping you put together that dream team for where you are right now for success.
Yeah. And when you're talking about dream team, you're really talking about who are the people you bring around you so that you feel your very best. So
your inner circle. Yeah, and that's not on my website. So if anybody's interested, email me at simone@balanceupcommunity.com and just put Dream Team in the title. I'll make sure you get that.
Oh, awesome, Simone. Thank you. And I would love for you to share one pearl of wisdom with our listeners today.
I will share, I have a bookmark that I made, and it's to truly thrive, we must first let go. And it's letting go of the societal norms. It's letting go of expectations. It's letting go of maybe expectations of not being where we want.
Nice. I like that a lot. And it's that let go, there's freedom with that.
If I can share real quick on that, I was using this bookmark in the book by Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom. And in the introduction, he talks about when he's making his walk to the car, out leaving prison officially to freedom after 27 years of imprisonment, he realized he had to make the decision right then to let go of anger against his imprisoners of 27 years in order to move forward. Right. And make a good impact. So I was like, wow, that's what my bookmark says. So it's like,
it gave me goosebumps because it's like, we can hold on to that toxic energy that he could have carried hate into the world, and he chose not to. And thankfully, the freedom that opened from that was powerful.
Yes.
Ooh, thank you. That's a beautiful one. Thank you, Simone. And so Pete, you said your website again, say it one more time.
SimoneG.net. And for the workbook on the Dream Team, email me at simone@balanceupcommunity.com.
And what about on social? Where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and all the links are on my site. And I'll be launching YouTube soon.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you,
you,
Simone. Okay, Liz, we're going to come back to you and love to hear one pearl of wisdom from you.
My pearl of wisdom is that our bodies are the wise ones. We are mere inhabitants. I meet so many people who are just in battle with their bodies, and their body's is the enemy. And once they go through this type of work, they realize our bodies know what to do. They're the result of millions of years of evolution, and they know how to heal. They know how to give us our life. And our job really is just to listen to our bodies and listen to what they need. And then we get to have this really loving relationship. We get to be loving caregivers of our own bodies.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's such a beautiful thing when we can just really start to put love onto our bodies versus all the negative thoughts. And I mean, it's such a gift when we can start to do that on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for that. I like that a lot. And where can people learn more about you?
LizMorganNutrition.com. And I also have links to all my social. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also soon to be YouTube.
That's right. We've got a lot of YouTubers going, and I love that. I love that YouTube is becoming such a great platform. And I think YouTube is a great platform for, especially for you, because this is just such a great, it's a great conversation, and there's so much to learn in that space. So I think it's a perfect space for you. So Thank you so much. Okay. Bailey, what is your one pearl of wisdom?
I would say something that I'm really encouraging clients to step into right now is just to allow yourself to really slow down and be intentional about what we're bringing into our space. I think a really powerful message that I'm trying to like hold the groundwork for right now is just to really analyze this mass consumerism, that cycle that we're a part of,
Yeah.
and like release that and allow ourselves to shift our mindsets of, okay, what does this look like with intentionality, and like allowing your intuitive consciousness to come through.
Yeah. And that choosing things that you bring into your home that you truly love, and making, I mean, it's one of the things, like, you know, those boxes, this is like my pet peeve recently. Those boxes that people send on a monthly basis. Here's a box of stuff for you. It's like, who needs that? Nobody needs to receive a box of stuff every month that you don't even know what's in there. That's just going to fill up your home. That's just going to create more stuff to go out into the world. So I love the fact that you look at, you know, we don't need the mass consumerism if we make really conscious choices. So I love that, Bailey. I think it's really an important one.
Thank you. Yeah.
And where can people find you? I know you've got a great Instagram account.
Thank you. So yeah, BaileyCatherineInteriors.com. My website's getting redone right now, so it'll be really pretty in a couple of months.
With all your good work you've been doing.
But it's up, yeah. And Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is at BaileyCatherineInteriors. So yeah, definitely give me a follow and reach out with any design questions.
Yeah, Bailey's always my go-to person on how to do Instagram, right? Which you know me, I'm not really on Instagram other than to stalk people that I love. But one of these days I'm going to really make Bailey sit down with me and teach me good Instagram skill sets. So that I actually take up that space. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here with me today. This has been a lot of fun. What an important conversation for our world. I encourage all of you to really think about how you're bringing wellness into your life, into your world, what choices you're making, because this is how we resonate on a higher vibe. When I talk about R factor, this is exactly it. It's like, it starts from the inside out. And, the work that these ladies are doing is just really incredible. So feel free to reach out to each one of them and connect with them and be in community with them, because they're doing really important work. And, you know, this has been just such a fun series for me to lead. I love showcasing the people, the women of my community. And so thank you for tuning in and listening to us. And if you're really wanting to be a part of amazing community like this in mastermind settings, this is the community to come be in. My women in my community are influencers. They're impact makers, and they are making a difference. So thank you, ladies, for being here with me today, and happy Friday to everyone. Happy weekend to everyone. And thanks, ladies.
Thanks, Cami. That was so
Thank you.
Thank you.